can't believe now it's just a few days away from the ITU World Championship in Ibiza, where I'll be competing in the long distance triathlon, packing the bike, making it sure it's a flight safe in the bike box. Alan, kudos to Mike for loaning me the bike box. And here's the checklist. Make sure you got a list and make sure whatever's on the list is in the bike box. It could have gone horribly wrong. I mean, it's already breaking up, so it's just going to keep slipping off. Major issue. There you go. So you can see it is broken and brittle. So I'm in Stansted Airport, Nero's. I made it through security. It was pretty busy, to be honest. And I wish I'd booked the fast track. And when you sort of like see it on the booking when you're parking, and you go, no, I'll be all right. It's sort of like, you know, Wednesday, non-term time. It can't be busy, sort of like at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday. So it was absolutely nuts. Flight schedule says relax. I'm trying to relax, so feeling a little bit nervous. Obviously, you do a lot building up to this in terms of training. Months making sure you're sort of like prepared as much as you can, trying to avoid getting sick, and also you've got to pack all of your stuff. Make sure you got all of your stuff for it 1,000 times just to make sure you haven't missed anything out of the sort of like luggage and bike box, etc. that you're really going to need. Yeah, then you sort of like got to get to the airport, get through, get your bike in, sort of like the large luggage area. Once that goes through, you kind of feel okay, but you don't feel okay until you see it on the plane and you see it on the other side. I'm going to try and relax now into the experience, and I think that's one thing I've got to remember is experience. I'm very lucky to be able to be able to do this, both in terms of from a fitness point of view, from some level of a financial point of view, because it is quite an investment to do these kind of things, both in terms of training and doing the events to qualify, and then once you qualify is the price of the ticket to get out here, both in terms of entry, flights, accommodation, all of the things that kind of go with that. You only live once, so you got to seize the opportunities that are presented in front of you and find a way if you can. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll see you on the other side. So I've just arrived, didn't realise it was such a nice view. It's now 8:30 and I'm going to be going and getting a pizza or some pasta, whatever it is, going to begin with P. Ooh, 13 miles done on the bike, testing it out. It's working correctly. Let me just give a little spin around the bike. And you can see To my left is the swim, which I did this morning. You may be able to see in the background the big rock. It's hot. Makes a difference from the UK, where it's just never ending cold at the moment, into the Spanish heat of Ibiza. This will be all labelled up as time goes on, and this will be the PTO Pro field where they're racking their bikes, coming in from the swim, which will be there. So the PTO Pros will come in from the swim along this runway here, and then they'll come in to get their bikes, which is where they'll be racked. Expo. This is where you're going to register. PTO Connors Cup. Horizon. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Nice setup. Free bottle. Collins Cup. There you go. Precision Fuel. FBR. These are the site mechanics, I think. Merch for ITU. Aston, maybe you could get on there, or Dean. I think that's super. You, that Campanera. This is where you will register. And here we have the wall from the USA there. Portugal, lots of dreams and hope. Go Team GB.
Take your marks.
bringing it home. World champion 2021, getting the silver medal. Well done, Christian. Detlef, Denmark. Superb performance by Magnus Detlef, the strongest cyclist on the triathlon circuit. Fantastic race from Ashley, our long-time leader, and still finishing third in this race.
Coming into transition, as you can see. Here we have bike. I'm not very good at holding it backwards. Running, and here we go. There's the bike.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me take you through what I'm going to have tomorrow. So when about 30 minutes before the race, I'm going to be drinking a pre-workout drink, which gives you clarity and gives you a boost, as well as before I get in the water, I'll take a Morton gel. On the bike, I'll have 3 bottles. The front two one will be an aero, and one underneath on the down tube. I'll have this mixed up with 1 Morton drink mix 320 in each. Then I'll have on the back a concentrated mix of 2 sachets in one, which when I then go to I've emptied these 2, I can do 2 refills of the aero bottle and fill water from the feed stations. I also have a couple of bars that I will take, 3 bars already cut up, which I will be taking every 30 minutes, which I've got an alarm on my bike computer for, and then about 15 minutes before I get off the bike, I'll take a gel, maybe 10 minutes before I get into transition, so I feel a bit of energy and a bit of a boost in T2. And then on the run, I'll have a bottle of the Morton energy mix drink 320 again in my needs feed bag. I will have a salt stick on me as well, which I'll be taking every 30 minutes, as well as a gel, Molten gel, every 30 minutes. And that will be it. So I am on my way to transition, 6:30 in the morning. A bit nervous, obviously, but I'm just gonna take it easy, make sure I enjoy the experience. I think it's gonna be an 8-hour race. See how it goes. See you on the other side. So let me take you through the race. It's done. Obviously, I am here with the tattoos and a lot of pride. So first of all, got to transition early, around 6:30, and the transition was closing at 7:45. The swim was my age group was 8:25, so I got there quite early just to make sure that my bike was all good, because I didn't deflate my tyres last night and it was 25 degrees. And here's an interesting stat. The reason why I left them up, apparently each 10 degrees increases the pressure by 2% based on the temperature you inflate them at. So if you inflate them at 70 Fahrenheit and then you go to 80 Fahrenheit, you're going to increase your pressure by 2%. So not that much. So I left them up and they stayed up. So in the morning they were good. And got myself ready. I felt quite relaxed. I knew the swim wasn't going to be a great swim for me because I'm just not a good swimmer. However, the elites went off first, and then rolled into our age group, which was the triathlon. The swim was a 3K swim, and I found it just as hard as I always find a swim. It was incredibly wavy, especially as we got out by 600-700 meters, and we had to go around the back of this island, a massive rock, and the waves just seemed to hit there quite badly. So the swim just felt long for me. Most of the age group that I was in was coming out of the water at 45 minutes. I came out at 1 hour 3, I believe. So a really slow swim. Not my best performance, but quite average for me over the last few years, just because I just can't get into it really, and I need to maybe. The bike, so I was about 5 minutes in transition. It was quite a long transition, but I was a bit disorientated, but I got myself together and was about just over 5 minutes in transition, which I was really pleased with, because I felt that my last event was I wasted 9 minutes, and it's free time really. So I saved myself 4 minutes on this one, and that was a big goal of mine, is not waste time in transition, because 4 minutes is quite a lot to get on the run or on the bike. Went out on the bike. It's a 2-lap course, and I think overall elevation is 4,000 feet, so around 1,500 meters. It was a tough bike, 2 laps. And it seemed to be very hilly, quite windy as well, which it was weird that it was windy, but it felt windy. It was very hot to start with, the first lap, but thankfully we had a bit of cloud cover on the second lap. What was difficult about it is that you had a lot of climbs, and then whatever you was coming down was rolling, and the rolls wasn't enough to go up. You had to sort of like get in a new gear and sort of like push up the hills in terms of power. So that was the bike. Very enjoyable though. Lots of riders, lots of quite technical in certain places in terms of turns. Road surface generally good, around 70% of it, and then some of the roads were just a little bit worse, but still far better than the UK. There was no potholes. Got off the bike. I think it was about 3:38. It was my time on the bike, so I averaged 20 mile an hour roughly, and I did set myself a goal of 3.5 hours around that time. So I was a little bit short on that time that I wanted, but I was still very pleased with it. Transition was a little bit slower because I had a load of sort of like debris on my feet from the swim that I couldn't get rid of because I forgot to take a bottle to splash it out, and a towel. So I had to sort of like get that off because I didn't want it to give me any jip. So I probably lost a minute just sort of like doing the debris. Put Vaseline on my toes and put new socks on, got my trainers on, put my cap on, glasses, normal thing, and I did nearly forget, but I had chafing because the tri-suits, the GBR tri-suits give you quite bad chafing, not just men but women as well, and it was sore, so I put Vaseline around my good areas. So pleased I did, because I didn't get any problems all the way through the run. The run was a 3.5 lap course. It was beautiful, I would say 70%, around 150 meters elevation, mostly around the castle, and it was a beautiful route through these beautifully old pebbles, but it was very, very steep. That 150 meters was pretty much there, or most of it. But yeah, great course. So you run out from the bike transition 5.5k, and that's where you start so that's a half lap, and then you start another 3 laps because the finish area is in the port somewhere different. Quite zigzaggy part of the loop. It had 4 out and backs which were quite long, and obviously you had to do those 4 times because you're doing 4 laps really, and part of the course. But I found the run really good. I had 4 gels, 3 standard Morton, and one caffeine one. I saved the caffeine one till the end, which was, I think, wise. I was taking caffeine. Well, I was taking gels every lap, and I took a gel straight away as soon as I started running, and I took one pretty much every lap, and I felt good energy, but I was very much fatigued towards the end, just because I was just getting hot, overheating. My heart rate was roughly around 167 all the way through the run, so I was trying to keep relaxed, but it was quite hard because you're obviously tired and fatigued. It was quite hot, not as hot as planned, which is a relief, but even so you still got hot. And yeah, so I knew I was running out of sort of like, energy and salts, because I saw my tri-suit after the bike and it was very, very salty, because I'm quite a salty sweater, I guess. So I had to make sure I replenished that. So I got some salt drinks on the run. I stopped at every feed station that there was to put water over my head. Drank water. I drank every other one. I drank Coke, and then maybe some of their ISO salt drinks as well. So I kind of like mixed and matched it. But generally felt quite good on the run. The run's 30k, and I finished the run in 2 hours 24 minutes. So relatively pleased with that. I think I probably could have done a better run, but generally the field that I was in was roughly doing 2 hour 20s. The winner was a 2 hour 13 or 15, but generally everyone else was a 220-ish upwards, and the bike was very similar to what I had, which is the 238. Some people were coming in at 224, 230s. Where I lost my time was in the swim. Overall, I finished ranked 24th in the world in my age group, and 8th GB athlete, and 180th overall in the male racing that was there today. So pretty proud of that. I didn't expect that. Good result in my book, and not just about the result, it was really about the experience, and that's something I really focused on, over these few days, and especially as I was going into the swim or setting up, I was just thinking, just have a good day, enjoy it. It is a world championship, and I'm pleased I did, because I really did make the most of it. What's surprised me, or it didn't surprise me, it probably was validation of sort of like where my mind was, is it is a world championship. So the sort of like quality of the field is incredibly strong. There's no weaknesses. So we had Joe Skipper here this weekend. I don't know, something may have happened, but I think he came 22nd in his age in the elite men, and I hope Kat Matthews is okay, but she was racing and she didn't get on the bike, or she was on the bike but she didn't finish the bike, so that was a DNF. I hope there's no accident or nothing serious there. And then Ruth finished the bike but didn't finish the run, so I don't know what happened there, but it is a very tough course. And then I will just finish off to say, really, the atmosphere was brilliant, really good, because you're running through the town pretty much, So, and everyone's shouting out, go GB, or, you know, go Brazil, or whatever it is, because every country is recognised. USA had a big turnout, Australia had a big turnout, Brazil had a big turnout, Portugal, Germany, France was huge, obviously the UK, then you had Denmark. It's a World Championships, and New Zealand. So yeah, overall a really good experience. So will I do another one? I don't think so, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I would like to try something else maybe next year. So hope you enjoyed the overall video. I hope there is some level of inspiration there for someone, you know, that thinks, oh, I could do that, because I think anyone can do it. It can be possible. If you saw the different athletes in all the different categories that I've seen during the last, you know, festival of sort of like World Championships, because it's not just been long distance. There's been duathlons and cross, sort of like, you know, mountain bike races as well. So mountain bike and running. So overall, if you see everyone, it's just a mixture. I even saw an 85-year-old man out on the course, as well as a, I think, 75-year-old woman. So, well, 75-year-old said she could be 79. You know, so it is so impressive and very inspirational, actually, to sort of like be part of it. So, thanks for watching.